right, we are live there. Live there. Live there. And live there. Very good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Week 10 of Season 11 of League 1. We'll be kicking off with the first of your doubleheaders. Number 1 Washington State away at 4-3 unranked Arizona State, followed by your second matchup of the evening, number 9 Penn State University hosting Northwestern, who's also 4-3. But let's keep things moving, and we're going to start by turning the microphone over to the head coach of Washington State, of the Cougars, Coach Spectre. He's going to take a quick run through the Arizona State roster, see what he's facing this evening, and then we'll kick off.
Good evening, sports fans. Coach Spectre here of the Washington State Cougars. We took over the number 1 rank for the first time this season this week, following losses to number 1, number 2 last week when we defeated Notre Dame. Coming into this week, we're playing the team that played against one of our other users last week. USC is coached by Coach Jocular, and they played Arizona State last week in Tempe and came up with the L as Arizona State's defense was able to contain them quite well. They played really well. I got a chance to see them, and that's my main concern going into this game. But to start, we're going to look at their offense here. The quarterback, he's an 80 overall, and he's his rating pretty average, and he's not really that mobile, it appears. So he's the guy that everything funnels through. 115 yards a game from the halfback. Going to be the guy we're going to be focusing on, although he doesn't make a lot of catches. The backup appears to be injured. We'll double check on the way out of the injured report. Either way, a backup halfback appears to be getting about 30 yards a game. Nothing from the fullback. Wide receiver core getting 63 yards a game, 40 yards a game, and tight end was 60 yards a game, a significant part of the offense. Should be a halfback tight end day for our defense. Their offensive line, 84, 71, 94, 75, and 90. A little bit peaks and valleys. Weak at the guards. Sounds like it might be a theme tonight. On defense, though, an 82 left end, 79 right end, an 85 on a hot streak at D tackle. Linebacking core with an 80 and 89 impact player. He was all over the place against USC. He's great in coverage as well. Very fast, very quick. And a good, so it has a really good linebacking core and a good solid secondary. Makes this team hard to pass on. And I believe last week, Pete Sims, was able to intercept USC 4 times, running 2 of them back for touchdowns, and also recovered a fumble. So he is an impact player this week because of last week. That we're thankful that he will be starred, and he'll be easy to spot. So we'll be careful on offense and try to get this thing won by any score possible and hold on to this ranking. We look forward to a great night of football. As Coach mentioned earlier, we've got another game coming up after this. But let's get this first game of the doubleheader started. I'll hand it back over to Coach Ninja.
All right. And then let's get started. You can see here thoroughly outnumbering in a lot of stats, except looks like a turnover differential slightly higher for Arizona State, which is no surprise considering they got 6 last game. Now they have a positive 5, which means they came into the previous game with a negative turnover differential. So that's quite a swing for them. We'll see if they can keep it up or if the Cougars are a little bit more careful with the ball than the Trojans. I've been told that Arizona State likes the 3-3-5 defense. It's a defense you see in this game, but you don't see it often. You see it rarely enough that it can throw you for a loop. It is more popular out west, where the passing game is heavier. We see the best players on both teams right here: the center, the kicker, the right tackle. 2 guys on the offensive line at 90. That's impressive. But conversely, John McClain, Jack Kerouac coming in. An excellent 31-place rushing offense, lots of offense on the ground for the Arizona State. But Washington State has the number 1 rushing defense in the country right now, as well as the number 1 points against and yards against, versus an impressive but not stellar Arizona State at 46 on both passing and points and yards. Much better against the pass than they are against the run. We'll see how much passes they give out to the very pass-heavy Washington State Cougars. Washington State, number 1 in points per game, number 7 in rushing yards. A very impressive showing, especially considering that the game simulates 15-minute quarters for all the AI teams, whereas we only play 7-minute quarters. So there's almost, I wouldn't say twice as many possessions, but I think maybe like 1.5 times the possession, twice as many plays. So that is a big difference.
Situation where this team is going to give this thing back. Thanks for checking out the pregame show. NCAA college football action coming up next with Brad and Kirk on the call. David and I will see you at halftime.
Yeah. Washington State, understandably, looking to build momentum coming into the late stretch. It is week 10. There's 4 more, well, technically 5 more weeks of the regular season, but in the major conferences, you get a bye week 15. Honestly, of all of the silverware, I am the least scared of the spoon, but I'm more scared of the knife than the fork. Washington State, currently 7-1 as their overall record. Similarly, now 1-8 in coin tosses this season. We'll see if that bodes well. Indiana Jones, of course, not the highest-rated quarterback on the Cougars, but the one with the most production, as Coach Spectre really likes the magical legs that Indiana Jones seems to run on. Looks like traditional pregame ritual. 5 wide for Washington State. And Indiana Jones throws it behind Ernst Blofeld, gets the 2 yards and the completion that he was looking for, but not anymore on a very athletic, handbrake turn to get the catch by Ernst Blofeld. This time we see a tight end and one back in the backfield. Jones keeps the ball. He has a great spin move, and he breaks the tackle from the safety. And he runs it about 73 yards downfield for the touchdown on the second play of the game. That's a great start as far as momentum is concerned for Indiana Jones and the Washington State Cougars. And that's a fantastic break tackle that you see there in the replay, turning it from 15 yards after the spin move into the whole damn thing. stepped out on the exclamation point of the first possession of the game. 2 plays, 80 yards for the touchdown. Washington State. And Oklahoma beats number 20 Texas Tech.
Great day, running for more than 150 yards. The Sooners prevail by 7. In another game, Air Force and Army square.
Go Army. Ooh, damn it, Indiana beat Rutgers. Indiana is 6-2.
Felt as if the game rested on every play. The Black Knights top it off with a 7-point win. You can never overlook any team, any week in college football. Wow. And it looks like
Cal lost again to Oregon State. P.D. Pablo makes the kick. And now we'll see what Arizona State can do. A little bit behind in momentum, probably no more than 25%. But plenty of time with 6 minutes and 18 seconds left to go. We see two backs and a tight end there in motion. And they start the game with a penalty on the offensive line to make it 1st and 15.
1st and 15 now. Ball on their own 20.
Quarterback is flushed out to the left. He slips some defenders, breaks a tackle, and touchdown saving tackle at the 42-yard line. A fantastic effort by the receiver there to turn that from almost no yards to quite a lot. But Hefner gets stopped in the backfield as Coach Stradamus gives a bit of a heads up to expect the inside run.
From the 43-yard line. 2nd down.
Held up by the defensive lineman, the tackle gets secured by the linebacker coming in. It's 3 yards to make it 3rd and long.
Down, and they need to get it down to the 32.
Shotgun set, tight end in motion. Screen pass, taken down by the defender for a loss on 3rd down. Good read by the defense there. And a secure open field tackle.
So it's 4th down. They'll line it up for a very long field goal.
Just inside Cougars territory, the Sun Devils are forced to punt. Kerouac is in the end zone and goes over his head for the touchback. Well, that's a missed field goal. I thought they were punting. I apologize. I thought they were punting. They were going for the long field goal. This means that rather than starting on their own 20, they're starting on their own. The Cougars are starting on their own 42. That is a considerable benefit in field position.
Pretty good looking touchdown drive the last time these guys were out there.
Seeing a 4-man front here. 3 linebackers shifted over to the right side of your screen. That middle linebacker has the star. An inside linebacker coming in unblocked, but he read on the halfback, and the quarterback kept the ball and slipped just around him. Gets 4 yards on the ground up the middle. Not usually where Indiana Jones runs. He likes to run to the sidelines. 2nd and 6, Alan Rickman comes across in an angle route. He gets it past the first down line and gets swarmed. Keeps his hand on the ball despite a whole lot of defensive players trying to get their hand in. Coach Stradamus now predicting cover 4. That's got a lot of guys covering deep yardage, but we see a fantastic job there by Indiana Jones. If you watch that play, you actually saw the defensive back, the read guy. He made the shimmy, and the shimmy means you hand it off. You don't keep it as the quarterback. That's why Indiana Jones had to make that hard spin cut inside so quickly. Otherwise, he was immediately going to get tackled in the backfield, but he turned a misread into positive play there as he now keeps the ball again and slides for the first down.
This guy is fearless. He'll put his head down and take a hit too. He doesn't care.
Forced out of the pocket by the coverage, he swings around, and the defensive end there saw him get off his block, but he didn't have the speed to catch up with Indiana Jones, who is unfortunately now pretty gassed at 2nd and inches. So yes, it looks like we're going to see John McClain in for at least a down. The handoff to Alan Rickman. He gets 1 yard, but when you've got inches to go, that's enough for the first down. And a nice long rest. Looks like Indiana Jones, all the way back to what Crayola would call yellow-green. But it does look like John McClain is going to stay in for for at least one more down. I guess Coach really wants Indy to be a nice, bright highlighter green color as Alan Rickman makes a great spin move. That was Jones? I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. I saw you making a change. You switched the... I'm told that Coach switched the backfield, not the quarterback on that play, in order to give the ball to Rickman very productively, as we now see the final of Ohio State over Maryland. Rickman with another handoff, again for 1 yard, makes it 2nd and 9.
This is the 9th play of this drive.
Four down linemen. Linebackers are edging towards the short side of the field. Jones scrambles, throws to the fullback, keeps his head down, bowls forward for 7 yards. It's 3rd and 2. Very manageable. An excellent job by the fullback, Jerry Reed.
So it's 3rd down, and they've got about 2 yards to go.
2 yards to the first down, 3 yards to a touchdown. And Ernst Blofeld coming over the middle on the drag route. That drive took almost 4 times as long as Washington State's previous drive. but by no means slow at 3 minutes and 35 seconds from the 42-yard line of their own side of the field until the end zone. Arizona State now gets a touchback, and we'll see what they can do on their second possession.
It's not quite a blowout, but unless they do something here, it might turn into one.
Up behind center, tight ends on the left. Hefner breaks a tackle in the backfield, breaks another one, but gets tackled 18 yards.
Getting past the defensive lineman and into the secondary before he could be stopped.
Mackey unable to secure the open field tackle, being told by coach that he is a freshman. He's going to be bulking up in the offseason, doing a lot of open field tackle drills, that's for sure. And it looks like there the middle linebacker saw something. He audibled to the rest of the team. They all came running right up the gut to stop that up the gut run. Second and 13 now for Arizona State.
He gets rid of this one.
Tried for the screen there and didn't like the coverage. A lot of guys for the Cougars reading on the screen. A couple of guys bearing down. Had to get it away and threw it to the short side of the field out of bounds. It's now 3rd and long. Tyler Perry almost in with the tackle for the sack, but gets the ball off, and they are forced to punt to end the first quarter. Kerouac gets the reception about the 12-yard line. Decent blocking, but he can't get past 25.
Washington State's shown what we expected them to do today. This one could get cut ugly.
Jack Kerouac, #1 in the country in the average distance on punt returns. Punt returns very hard to get a lot of yardage in NCAA 14. Most of the time, you're very happy if you get more than 6.
Washington State. Welcome back here. We resume action now here in the second quarter. It was a pretty
Washington State's 3rd possession of the game. Scored touchdowns on the first 2. Indiana Jones sticks around in the backfield for a little while, but decides eventually, no, he's got to run it, and throws it back across the field to Ernst Blofeld, coming across in a slant. Blofeld gets tackled immediately, but 11 yards gets a first down. And Indiana Jones, so far, 6 for 6, and a lot of yards on the ground. So once again, Jones takes it and spin moves out of the way of the defender, but gets stopped by the linebacker, only a 3-yard gain.
They're going to have to start keying in on the run. When that happens, I'd look for him to start to try to do some more with the passing game.
Single back offset, no tight end here. Handoff is to Rickman. Runs it right up the gut for 7 yards.
You know, when you have a guy that can grab 5 yards or so consistently, it sure takes some of the pressure off the passing game.
Indeed it does. The other thing that takes off a lot of pressure is when the passing game is so good that when you come out in a shotgun, they don't expect you to run. Which is something that in both of these last 2 consecutive plays, the Washington State Cougars have really taken advantage of, handing it off to Rickman. Of course, these runs are going to make the Sun Devils respect the run more when Indy comes out in the shotgun, and they're going to turn that into a killer passing game too, as Hannibal Lecter gets the drag, and they're just short of the mark. It's 3rd and 1.
short yardage situation here. It's 3rd and 1.
John McClain in. The handoff this time to Gary Sinise, who runs 3 yards and gets the first. Coach Siwak has, I guess, he has let us know who he's supporting this evening by saying Cougar Bro.
First down, 10 yards to go. Ball on the 42. They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
5 wide receivers. Jones in the pocket, but he gets picked off. By the clipping on the return, brings the ball back. I do believe that's the same corner who had such a prolific game against USC the other night. Handoff up the gut. Hefner gets 5. Really because of his offensive line, because they moved the line of scrimmage. That turnover giving the Sun Devils a considerable amount of momentum. You see it here. The Cougars fighting hard against it, get it to 3rd and 2.
It's 3rd down, and they're about 2 yards shy of the sticks.
Hopefully, Coach Dramas has something to say on this play. And knowing where it was going is key to the stop in the backfield. It allowed them to call the sellout on where it was going. It's a good play. And that's a 3 and out after a turnover, an impressive defensive play. An excellent 15-yard return there from Jack Kerouac. We'll see if Jones can keep his eye on the ball and not throw it away this time. Danny Glover, a bit hurt. Looks like he'll be back later, but currently on the bench. Seeing a 3-man front this time for Arizona State. They've been in mostly 4-man, but this looks like a 3-3. Alan Rickman catches the ball and spins away from the linebacker to make it for 14 yards instead of 7.
Great call by the coaches on 1st down. It stretches the defense when they're expecting the run, and then they end up with another 1st down.
From their own 41-yard line, it's 1st down.
Single back offset here. Handoff again to Rickman. 10-yard rush just across the line. Gets that 1st down. Another angle route to Rickman. This time the linebackers are right there to stop him, but he does hold on to the ball. Takes it to the ground 4 yards downfield. Washington State now 2nd and 6 on their opponent's 44.
From the 44-yard line, it's 2nd down. Pulls down the catch, and he's got room here. They'll bring him down.
Indiana Jones getting protection in the pocket there from his offensive line gives him time to wait for Ernst Blofeld to break away from coverage for the reception for 1st down. Indiana Jones now 10 out of 11.
Defensive coordinator anticipating this 5-wide set, and he comes in with his dime package. Dumps it complete to the halfback over the middle.
And Blofeld there gets 9 yards on the drag route out of the middle slant.
Short yardage situation here. It's 2nd down and 1.
Rickman with a massive rush. He's got 36 yards now on 6 rushes. He's got a 6-yard average. He started 2 for 2. That's an impressive display, really taking advantage of the passing game and how scared Arizona State is of it. As you can see, even with 4 down linemen, they've got them spread out quite a lot. Not a lot of linebackers directly behind the line. That's good for coverage. It's bad for runs. It helped them there prevent Simon Phoenix from going for more than 2 yards. But it is exploitable, as we saw in the previous plays with Rickman. Now 2nd and 8, a minute 24 left in the second.
Quarterback in the gun, 5 wide receivers.
Indiana Jones breaks out, and he cannot find anyone to pass to, and he cannot escape the defense on the scramble, so he throws it out of bounds. Avoids the sack, gets to 3 and 8, but they're on the 13-yard line, and they're up by 2 scores. Minute 16, the clock is stopped in the second. With a gassed offensive line, they take their time in the huddle.
They come out in an empty backfield.
3rd and long, throw it to the out route on the left. Hannibal Lecter makes the catch in front of a diving cornerback and runs it around another corner for the touchdown.
By the power of Grayskull. Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
From 3rd and 8 to a touchdown, Arizona State now gets the ball. They've got a minute 13 and 3 timeouts to see what they can do. They've missed a field goal. They've punted twice.
And it goes into the end zone, down for a touchback. Things are on the verge of getting out of hand before we even hit the half. These next few drives are going to go a long way in determining.
With only a minute and 13, they're definitely in 2-minute drill here. Nearly a sack, but tight end there, it looked like, couldn't hold on to the ball. Stops the clock at a minute and 10, but it is still 2nd and 10.
Not do a good job protecting him. They're very fortunate that ball wasn't intercepted.
2nd and 10. Ball on the 25.
Single back. The wide receivers are all spread out. Landry has to come back for it and gets stopped short and in bounds. Washington State calls the timeout on 3rd and 1.
Surprised if they went to the air again.
2 tight ends and a fullback here. This is a heavy set for Arizona. But the off-tackle run to the left gets 6 yards and a 1st down. Arizona State calls timeout. 58 seconds left to go in the first half.
Ball on their own 40.
And Perry is able to dive in for the sack.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna get to do. Another one bites the dust. Shoot up.
That sack costs Arizona State a timeout, and they're short again, 3rd and 1. This time the clock is moving on 3rd down. And the heavy pass rush forces the throw out of bounds. That saves a timeout for Washington State. It's now 4th and 1 on their own 49. Looks like Arizona State is sending out their offense. And they get another sack, forces the turnover.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get to another one bites the dust.
36 seconds, 46 yards to pay dirt. 2 timeouts for Washington State. It comes out 5 wide.
To improve from front to back. The line needs to put more pressure on the quarterback, and the defensive backs need to stick it to these receivers with tighter coverage.
The defender had it and then dropped.
Took a shot at the end zone there. Larry Martin for the defense almost comes down with it, but had the ball been a little farther, Alonzo Harris might have been away.
From the 46-yard line. Second
Cost
down.
them 1 play and 6 seconds. 30 seconds left to go. Arizona State down by 3 scores.
Now he's scrambling. Wide open receiver, and it's incomplete.
Just as well for Washington State there. The incompletion saves a timeout. It's now 3rd and 10.
So an empty backfield with 5 wide receivers. He's wrapped up for
But Jones gets sacked 10 yards in the backfield. Forces the 4th and 20. Arizona State calls their last timeout, knowing they'll get the ball back with probably about 18 seconds.
after the sack.
Petey Pablo comes out to punt.
Kirby back deep to return. He punts it away, and there's no hang time.
No hang time. Hits the 20-yard line. Bounces out of bounds at the 10.
Precision that you need from your punter. Nicely done.
An excellent punt there to put them on the 11 with 17 seconds.
It's still
Looks like Arizona State's coming out with a heavy run.
ball left, but I've got to say, this one is teetering on the brink of a blowout. Gives it to the back. Tackled outside after a nice pickup.
Tackled in the open field. Nobody stops the clock. It's now halftime. Washington State versus Arizona State.
From their own 16-yard line. It's second down. That's going to do it for the first half, and they're just trying to keep this thing close. 21-0, Cougars.
Hi, everybody. Glad to have you with us on the EA Sports Halftime Show. Reese Davis and David Pollock here at the break. David, you go through this first half, and there was a lot of anticipation for this game coming in, but it sort of got sleepy. It was sort of as scripted throughout the first half. What's it like for a player when a game's sort of gone flat on you to try to maintain that edge?
Well, you always have so much emotion and so much excitement coming into a ball game, and a lot of times it's about tapering it down and making sure you don't use it all in the first half. I think you saw the feeling out process, and now in the second half you'll start to see that energy pick back up, because now you're going to see the goal in sight. The finish line's coming, and guys are going to make sure they want to make plays.
Have to try to maintain a fine balance between the desire to make plays and staying within yourself, sticking to the game plan, and perhaps that will be the key to the
Just under 100 yards passing there, but well over 100 yards rushing for Washington State. A quick look at the stats here. Only 3 first downs in the entire half for Arizona State. They have a total offense of 88 yards. 23 yards on the ground from 11 runs. That's barely an average over 2 yards a run. Considering how many good runs they've had, that just shows you how many tackles for loss they've also had. They're 5 out of 8, 65 yards through the air, and 1 out of 5 on third down. They don't have a turnover, but they do have a turnover on downs in addition to 2 punts. And that's one of the reasons why they've got almost half of the time of possession of Washington State, who has, of course, 3 out of 4 third down conversions, 98 yards through the air, 131 on the ground, 11 first downs, and 21 points. So far, Jones is 13 out of 17. Those incompletions all pretty much coming late in the second. He was perfect up until the interception. Receiving, the bulk of receivings have been by Alan Rickman, but yards by Alan Rickman, but number of receptions by Ernst Blofeld. And now we see kickoff of the third quarter. Arizona State going to get the ball one more time to start this half.
Nice kick, plenty of distance. Washington State's attack, it seemed when you look at
Only giving up 88 yards in a single half of football. That's pretty good, especially with a 4-yard average and 2 sacks.
Their defensive line and their linebackers, the way they're being able to just win the battle at the line of scrimmage, I think it's giving them confidence. It's allowing them to play more downhill where they can attack this offense.
Arizona State, 1 tight end, 1 halfback out to the left. This time Slaughter gets the ball, holds on to it, drags a couple of guys, but there's a flag on the field. That is a roughing the passer there for Mel Gibson. 15-yard penalty.
First and 10. Ball on the 46-yard line.
Arizona State now back in Washington State territory for the first time since they attempted that missed field goal.
And he's taken down at the 35.
Brady Adams comes across for the 11-yard reception and first down in double coverage.
To help this offense be effective.
So they pick up quite a few yards on that play, Kurt.
That was an excellent route, and he did a great job of holding on to the football.
I don't know how that was a reception. I'm sorry, we're going to get an instant replay on this. Because I could have sworn it said user SWAT. The SWAT is there. And then another receiver dives in to catch the swatted ball. That is a miracle play. And I've only seen 3 or 4 of those. That's incredible. But it keeps the drive alive, makes it 2nd and 2.
Yards away from the sticks.
But Hefner now gets caught in the backfield. They lose 4 yards to make it 3rd and long. A great result after that ridiculous catch. Unable to get the pressure, Corey Duncan makes the 14-yard reception. Arizona State now on the 17-yard line. This is their first possession of the second half, and they've got a few things working.
First down. Quick toss. Intercepted.
He telegraphed that throw. He eyed his receiver the whole
But the lob pass to the back of the end zone gets intercepted by Allen Ginsberg. Ginsberg doing a great job to make sure his feet get down so the interception stays in bounds. Give a bit of a charge to that Washington State team as then you see out of the 5 wide, Indiana Jones scrambles, deciding rather than go upfield and try to slide to really make sure he avoids the tackle, keeps his energy by going out of bounds, happy with getting 6 yards on the ground on first down. So we now see a very heavy set, 2 tight ends, 2 halfbacks offset. Indiana Jones keeps it, avoids a bunch of defenders. He's got one guy, and he spins out of bounds for 27 yards rather than get tackled from behind. He was unable to outpace that defender.
I think he's easily one of the most complete players in the country.
It was 2 defenders, I'm sorry.
From the 48-yard line. First down.
John McClain in, standing under center on the paint of the pitchfork. Taking his time under center as John McClain is known to do. Not one to jump the gun, hands off to Rickman, who has a fantastic run, very smart, seeing some gaps, really patient, gets a fantastic run, bring his total up to 58 yards with an 8.3 average. That's a fantastic average for Rickman, who's usually really only asked to get 3 or 1 most games.
Ball on the 26-yard line. They'll spread the field with 5 wide. Scrambling around. Deep ball. Later.
Jones to Harris, way deep in the end zone.
He's thrown his 3rd touchdown pass of the game.
He's been letting it fly today, and his receivers are making plays. That is a great touchdown.
And that touchdown by Harris makes it 28-0. It is now Arizona State's ball. 4:24 left to go in the 3rd.
Time I saw this good a defensive performance where you had a chance for a shutout. Are you kidding me? In college football today, with the spread and the running quarterbacks and all the speed and space, these guys get a chance to put up a shutout.
Not a whole lot's been working for them so far. They should just come out and play loose and easy because they've got nothing to lose. Tackle made right around the 36.
Brady Adams, another reception for 11 yards, moves the chains.
He had possession. That's the right
Alex Edwards now 10 out of 14.
We've got a 1st and 10. Ball on the 36-yard line. Nice catch on that one. They'll bring him down. Around
Cooper has to come back for the ball. He's stopped short of the down line. It's 2nd and 1. Slaughter out in the left flat, but he has to come back for that one too. It's a loss, and now becomes 3rd and 2.
It's 3rd down, and they're about 2 yards shy of the sticks.
Tight end on the left, fullback and a halfback. Quarterback, unable to get the pitch off, is tackled for a loss. Down by 4 scores. Not behind their own 35. I'm not sure. Looks like, yeah, they're coming out with the punt. Because they are in their own 40. As we see Liam Neeson fading back. The punt is away to Kerouac, who catches it on the 20. Gets a 4-yard return, as all that hang time gave plenty of time for the Arizona State Sun Devils to get downfield. We see a 4-3 against a heavy set. 2 tight ends, 2 halfbacks. Jones keeps it. Jones gets stumbled and ends up not getting away from a defender who breaks his block.
From their own 22-yard line. 2nd down.
Spread set, calls for 3 down linemen, Arizona State thinks. And the corner blitz comes in for a sack. It is 3rd and very long.
When the film study starts to come around, you're going to kind of sink in your chair and just hope they don't call you out, because you're going to get embarrassed on Monday from now.
Looks like we're having a little bit of controller trouble. Hopefully popping out the batteries will do something. You want to use my controller? Alright, looks like we're going to have to swap controllers. Give us just a second. And thank goodness for games that aren't dumb. Ooh, this is not, it doesn't appear to be a controller thing. Okay, interesting. Alright, so let me turn off this. Let me pull the plug on that. Okay, now you can. Alright, thank you for bearing with us. After much ado about controllers, we have a punter in to punt on 3rd and 20. This is something that we see users do, because even when you call the punt on 3rd down, the computer does not put in a punt return team. But that is a ridiculously short punt there. Coach not realizing how little power that punter had, definitely regretting that decision. 67, pipeline guy. Got to see what that kick power is. 72 kick power. That's what a 72 looks like. Oof. Shouldn't have given it any hang time. Oh, you didn't give it any hang time. Oh, okay. All right, minute 46 in the half. 7-yard sack is very helpful. Makes it 17 yards to the first down line, but also much further away outside of field goal range for Arizona State.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get to do. Another one bites the dust. Shoot out.
Traded off from one defender to another. Ronald Slaughter only gets 7 yards, makes it 3rd and 10. They go for the end zone into double coverage. A.J. Cronin in there. And they make another long attempt at a field goal. And that long field goal right down the middle gives Arizona State its first points of the game.
He kicks it off, and he got all of that one. He gets out to about the 15-yard line.
As we also see Iowa tied late in their game against Illinois.
They spread the field in the gun with 5 wide
I wonder if Iowa's had a serious injury. Fortunately for Washington State there, the defenders unable to come down with the interception, making it 2nd and 10.
From their own 15-yard line, it's 2nd down. Washington State up by a bunch.
Jones holds onto the ball, gets a 4-yard rush, 3rd and 6. Jones, unable to get rid of it, is sacked for a loss of 9. And that is the end of the 3rd.
So at the end of the 3rd quarter, the Cougars in front, 28-3. They're stacking the line. It looks like they're coming after this punt.
A much, much better punt this time around for Washington State. Perry, short of the sack, dove too early, and the pass went off to get a first down. But Edwards is sacked that time for a loss of 2 yards after it looked like he decided to go for the scramble. He got forced out of the pocket and went for the scramble and just didn't have the legs for it. Ohio State over Maryland.
From their own 46-yard line, it's second down. Tackle at the 45.
Hefner, again, negative yards. It's now 3rd and 13. Duncan makes the long catch to keep the chains moving on a long 3rd down.
From the 31-yard line, first down. Play fake. Here comes the defense. Gets it out to his receiver, and he can't hang on. Cooper was the intended receiver on the play. That makes it second and 10. It's second and 10. Ball on the 31-yard line.
Ball deflected at the line of scrimmage by, I think, Anthony Mackey. Makes it 3rd and long again.
Not do a good job protecting him. They're very good.
Tight end in motion, moves into the slot. Edwards, no more pocket, but the ball gets, looks like it was stripped to make the incompletion. 4th and 10 on the 31-yard line. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a back.
Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down.
Down by 25 points, they had got to go for it with 5:25 left in the 4th.
Here they come, going for it all to the end zone.
Another end zone deflection there. Gets the turnover for Washington State.
Both teams are playing out the stretch here. You want to get experience for guys who normally don't get in the game and try to avoid injuries. There are 5 wide receivers split out. The quarterback in the gun. He's tackled.
The slant to Simon Phoenix goes for 14 yards.
That makes it 1st and 10. Washington State looking to add to this big lead here. He's going to air it long. And it's intercepted by the senior cornerback.
Corner Martin gets the interception when Alonzo Harris stops running for the ball.
And you're still throwing the football into coverage? What are you doing, trying to let the guy get back into the game?
First and 10. Ball on the 36. They can't connect. Incomplete.
Can't hold on to the ball. Another incompletion for Edwards.
Open man, and it's his wide receiver. And he's level at the 37.
Unlucky timing with the player switch forces the bad coverage.
First down, 10 to go. Ball on the 37-yard line. They come out in a 5-wide set.
Looks like a 3-man front for Washington State. Earth, Wind, and Fire doesn't get the sack, but he gets close enough to force the throw away. Second and 10.
Disrupt the pocket, and the quarterback is going to have a tougher time getting the ball to his playmakers.
He's under some heat. Nearly picked off, but he
This time it's Kerouac. He gets his 4th deflection of the game to make it 3rd and 10. Corey Duncan gets the 15-yard reception for first down.
They come out in an empty backfield. Fires out to his wideout. And he's taken
Jacob Landry, 12 yards, first down.
Washington State's going to take their first time.
Washington State wants to stop the bleeding, calls a timeout.
And this is the 8th play of the drive. Now let's see if the third time's a charm down here in the red zone. Brought down at the 13, and he was pretty much stuffed on.
Another tackle for loss for Hefner.
By the defense in stopping him before he could get going and build up momentum.
Second and goal from the 13.
It's second and goal. Ball on the 13. Up the middle for a nice gain.
Option up the gut gets 5 yards, but it is still 3rd and long until the end zone.
Complete touchdown.
Brady Adams gets the 9-yard touchdown pass.
It's all about the receiver on this play. He beat his man off the line and then ran a perfect route. All he had to do after that was make the catch.
And the secondary didn't quite seem alert enough to defend that pass. They call it a catch, but the booth signaled down to the referee that they'd like to take another peek at this.
Man, as I see this play again, it really looks like he made the correct call on the field.
So they review it, but there's just not enough evidence to overturn this one. And he converts the extra point.
Arizona State tries for the onside kick, but it's scooped up by Simon Phoenix.
They're going to continue to put up a fight. This is a proud program, and they're going to go down swinging.
Washington State starts with the ball on the opponent's 43. Their most productive drives of this game so far have been starting on their opponent's side of the field.
Can do this time.
The best way to move beyond a turnover
Come out with 2 backs and spread wide receivers.
other teams half of the field, you're in really good shape to have a chance to do
And the pitch goes to Rickman,
He's at the 30.
who makes it to the 19-yard line or so.
We've got a 1st and 10. Ball on the 21.
Jones keeps it on the read option. Spin moves the first defender to get first down, 12 yards. Now, first and goal, 3 minutes and 6 left, 8 yards to pay dirt.
Less than 3 minutes in the game. He's on the run, and he's going to come up with a sack. Boy, this defense really came to play today.
Well, they said before the game that they wanted to put a lot of pressure on this quarterback.
Good defense called against that play. Makes excellent coverage without a lot of options. Jones takes the sack, and they take a timeout to let Jones rest.
From the 11-yard line. Second down.
A 3-3 here from Arizona State. Rickman keeps the ball.
Brought down after a nice run up the middle.
It's a good run on second down. Washington State is now over 200 yards rushing this game. It's third and goal from the 6.
They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
Jones keeps the ball, gets out of the pocket, and runs it in, standing up for the touchdown.
By the power of Grayskull. Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
Play has the lead, 7-0.
All right, Reese, back to our game. Everyone's all lined up and ready for the kickoff.
Number 36 set to return.
Nice kick, plenty of distance. And it goes into the end zone, down for a touchback. I'm sure that touchdown in their last possession's given them some confidence, but let's see if that carries them back down the field.
And it was a really nice drive, too, Brad. The quarterback got into a nice rhythm and did a good job of picking apart the defense.
Finds his receiver who's all alone. And he's tackled at about the 47-yard line. From their own 47-yard line, it's first down. Just under 2 minutes in the game. He makes it out to maybe the 49-yard line.
Gain of 2 yards. That makes it 2nd and
8.
Second and 8. And the sack by Perry.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get to do. Another one bites the dust. Shoot up.
Cooper is forced out of bounds. It's 4th and 4 from the 47. And looks like we're going to see a punt formation with 1:08 left in the game.
This punt, if he gets it where he wants, it can really change the field position in this football game. And this one is a beauty. This punt bounces into the end zone,
And there's a touchback. Washington State, only 1 timeout left, 1:03.
Not even close. It's a blowout. A lot of folks have already gone home, and Herbie, I think we're going to make our dinner reservation. They'll spread the field here. Let's see what the defense does with a 5-wide outlook. He chucks it downfield.
Jones throws it into space. Simon Phoenix catches it, but then gets gobbled up.
That makes it 1st and 10.
Now it's 1st and 10 after the big pass play.
Clock is moving. 5 wide receivers.
With 5 wide. Tackle made at the 18-yard line.
First down.
Under a minute left in the game. Fires quickly.
And Hannibal Lecter, long pass. Indiana Jones, 3 for 3, 78 yards, 26-yard average
In fact, that's why they decided to try to get as much
in a just under 30-second drive
plenty of time to make the throw, and he delivered when he
to put another dagger in the back of Arizona State.
A short 3-play, 81-yard drive. And the result, 7 points.
Boy, that is scoring in a hurry. This offense is looking more and more explosive.
This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchback for Washington State. They've been coming after the quarterback all day long. This defense has had success getting after the quarterback. I don't expect any once-in-a-lifetime rallies here, but that being said, we could still see some exciting plays. He's on the run. And down he goes at the 49-yard line.
Hefner gets 26 yards by getting into the open field.
That close to
AJ Cronin with the tackle.
tailback is always a danger to break.
And that's sort of been Hefner's story of this game. He either gets caught in the backfield or gets good yardage.
From the 49-yard line. First down. And he throws it away.
Good coverage, despite not a whole lot of pressure. Edwards is forced to throw it away. 2nd and 10, 24 seconds left in the game. Hand it off to Hefner again. This time he gets caught inbounds inside.
That's their second of the half.
Clock is moving, 20 seconds.
They need to get it down to the 39.
Oh, Arizona State called timeout. 20 seconds left to go in the game. Screen pass. The defenders are there. 4-yard loss. This time, Washington State calls the timeout,
Well, that's just a sound play by the defense.
forcing the punt with 15 seconds left.
Scrimmage.
Ford awaits the snap. He's out to the 30.
Kurak gets an excellent return back to about the 37-yard line. There are only 5 seconds left.
They did a great job on their last drive, moving the ball down the field for a touchdown. Let's see if they can duplicate that on this drive.
You know, when this defense went over to the sideline, based on the way they've been playing so far, this defense coordinator's got to be livid. He's got to get in.
Jones gets sacked for 10 yards in the final play of the game,
Play defense. It's not just about X's and O's. It's about
with that middle linebacker on the blitz. An excellent game overall from Washington State. One real mistake of that pick, but that's a good defense by Arizona State. I'm sorry. I think it's a tale of two halves for the Arizona State offense. They came out in the second half with a much more pass-heavy offense and had a lot more success really spreading the ball around to a number of receivers and only sprinkling in the run and not trying to go too much of the horizontal screen game, but really going to a lot of slants, a lot of ins, a lot of outs that ended up being productive for them. A couple of times they were caught by turnovers, but those are both in cases where they did actually work it down the field a reasonable amount before that. And if maybe their first half had been like their second half, it would have been a very different game at halftime. one of the things I noticed just before the end of the game, just before Washington State's last score, is that it called out that the number of first downs in the game at that time was 17 for Washington State and 13 for Arizona State. If you remember, Washington State had 11 first downs in the first half, and Arizona State had 3. So what that means is that in the second half, to that point, Washington State had 6 first downs, and Arizona State had 10. Now it's 8-14. So I think my point still stands that, you know, a lot more first downs, a lot more general production. There was under 100 yards of total offense for Arizona State in the first half, and they picked up 200 in the second. So definitely a tale of two halves for Arizona State. Too little, too late. Too many more turnovers than Washington State would have liked, but an excellent third down conversion rating. Excellent both passing yards and rushing yards. Overall, a good game for Arizona State. For Washington State with a few flaws. An excellent game by Jones in the passing game, 18 for 24, 2 picks. But 190 rating, very, very solid. Yep, Rickman had an excellent game on the ground, 85 yards, 9.4 yard average, to Jones's 115. Unfortunately, that average comes down because of the sacks. But we'll see. That's an excellent game, rushing game overall for the team, though. Yeah, Hannibal Lecter with two touchdowns, and some impressive play. Yeah, the defense as a unit getting a total of 5 sacks and a tremendous amount of tackles for loss. Very spread around, which reflects a good defensive scheme rather than a single excellent player. Thank you for joining us for the first of our doubleheader. We will be resuming shortly with Northwestern at number 9 Penn State. But first, we've got to take a break, stretch our legs, grab some beers, and switch some hard drives. Baylor beating number 16 Oklahoma State. That's another upset. So we will see you all in 5-10 minutes for part 2, Northwestern at Penn State. We look forward to seeing you there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I'm going to walk you through a quick look at Northwestern before we get started. As you can see, a lot. They're 4-3. I'm 5-2. We'll take a look at their schedule in just a second to see what that means. But they're a good team with solid stats, B minuses, but numbers, particularly defensively, really in Penn State's favor there. 2 key injuries at left guard and right guard for Northwestern. We'll see what that means as well in just a minute when we look at their roster. But this is Northwestern's schedule. So let's see. Those losses were to 5-2 Rice, 5-2 number 4 Michigan, and 2-5 Minnesota. Deceptive 2-5, and I know that they actually get to 3-5. And yeah, Minnesota has a recent national title under its belt. Former user team. So, but they beat Duke by not enough to be impressive. Michigan State by enough to be impressive, even though Michigan State has a losing record this year. Yeah, always a good defense. They beat Wisconsin impressively. And they beat number 7 Iowa. So they were, and Iowa was number 1 at the time. So they're 4-3, but not a 4-3 to write off. They're a little bit streaky, but their wins have been impressive, and most of their losses haven't been terrible. But some of them have been, obviously. They're definitely streaky. So let's go take a quick look at the Northwestern depth chart, and then we'll figure out, hopefully we'll find out which Northwestern team traveled to Happy Valley. All right, 91 quarterback, 73 speed. Does he run the ball? No more than he has to. Absolutely has to. But yes, passing, I'm sorry, 170 yards a game. Yeah. All right. Yeah. A lot of incompletions, but decent decisions. The halfback is an impact player, 87, gets 100 yards a game, 30 on the ground. Pedro Madsen is the focal point. He's an impact player. Was the quarterback an impact player? He was. Okay. Fullback, not really to speak of. Yeah, they don't appear to put him on the field. I can understand why. Morris is their very good receiver. He only gets 60 yards, though, a game, whereas 40 yards, 25 yards, and Avery's on a hot streak. Pierre, okay, so they do actually spread it around, but Morris is the more. Yeah. If he's getting 20 yards a game, that's a 4 wide receiver set. Is the tight end 73? He's getting 40 yards. Mix it up between 3 and 4. But definitely even when they do 3 and 4, and this has always been true of Northwestern, they spread it out and run anyway.
They're the non-Big Ten team in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The Big Ten's a power conference, and Northwestern wants to spread you out.
Yeah, but they still run the ball when they spread you out. So looking at the offensive line. All right, so now it's important to remember who the backups here are. Grigsby and Clark. I'm sorry. So Anderson is an 87. McFarland is out, so Grigsby or Clark, probably Grigsby because it's left, I would imagine. But it might depend who went out first. But that's 87 to probably a 78. Center is a 74. Again, Grigsby and Clark, true freshmen. Again, Grigsby and Clark are still the backups. They're probably all the backups at the right as well. So Butler is out. This means that either Grigsby or Clark is playing for Butler. And then the right tackle. So the tackles are the strength of the offensive line, and it really bows in the middle. And they've got no backups besides Grigsby and Clark. They're playing all 5 of their offensive linemen. Attack the center. All right, so because the guards are only going to be able to handle one man, they're not going to be able to help. So the ends, 81 and a 90 impact. That's great player on defense. Maybe their best. Defensive tackle, solid D tackles, 2 of them. An 87 left outside, a 90 middle linebacker, incredibly good, but no depth. Weakness of the linebackers is still good and right outside. True freshman 78. He's going to be incredible in a few years. The corners are relatively low, with the highest being an 80. 85 free safety, 78 strong safety. True freshmen. So a lot of good true freshmen. They're going to be good in a couple of years, but some weaknesses now. But overall, I think, like their record, they're peaky. You know, I wouldn't say they've got any one section that's really, really strong, but they've got really good guys in a lot of places. Yeah. Yeah.
They have to get hot to play well.
Yeah. Okay. So that really is the breakdown of the Northwesterns. So without further ado, we'll go in and get started. Here is Coach Spectre.
Good evening, sports fans. Coach Spectre here, coach of Washington State, coming off of our win just recently. Now getting the chance to sit on the couch with a beer next to the Penn State Nittany Lions. Coach Ninja leading them out onto the field against this Northwestern Wildcats team, as was just broken down by him, a streaky team that could potentially be dangerous, but we hope to see the Nittany Lions put their foot on their throat here in the early going. We're here in week 10 of season 11 in League 1 as number 9 Penn State coming into this game. 4-0 in the Big Ten, trying to win that Big Ten Eastern Division and make their way to Indianapolis. Second in points per game allowed at 18.3. The Nittany Lions boast a solid defense, an excellent offensive line, smart quarterback play, and always a good tailback. Northwestern, a antithetical, odd duckling in the Big Ten, a spread passing team with a halfback focus, much like you'd see out of a UCLA or an Oregon State, almost a Western style. Penn State, your classic single tight end or twin tight end power running set with a few tricks up their sleeve. They would love for you to expect a certain thing out of them just so they can surprise you.
The way they knew they could before the season started. You know how this game is. You're only as good as your last one, so they're going to have to prove it on the field again today. Thank you for joining us here on the NCAA College Football pregame show. Now let's send it out to Brad and Kirk for all the action.
You see there are only 78 yards rushing per game allowed. An excellent rush defense for the Nittany Lions. They're playing at home today in front of over 110,000 fans here at Happy Valley. Beaver Stadium packed with a whiteout, looks like. I'm not seeing a whole lot of purple in the stands there. Very unusual horizontal stripe on Northwestern's uniforms, just like Queens Park Rangers coming into Beaver Stadium. Some of the normal coaching adjustments, with a couple of tweaks here and there for an unusual team, as Penn State's going to get this game started off. Kicking off in the first, that means they'll get the ball in the second. Northwestern's going to get it started here out of the 25-yard line here in the first quarter.
gets ready to take their first crack at it.
Man in motion for Northwestern. A run to the right side gets positive yardage. It's 5-yard gain by Pedro Madsen. 2nd and 5. Another run to the right, a leap over a defender. Madsen makes a heck of a play to get through traffic quickly. That gives him an extra step on the edge, and it turns into an extra 15 yards on that play. 1st and 10 now for Northwestern inside the 40-yard line. A stick by the Penn State defense. It takes 2, but the gang tackle secures a 2-yard loss. Now going to be 2nd and long, 3rd time that Penn State's had 2 tacklers get the offensive player. The gang tackling strategy looks like it's going to be necessary today.
2nd down.
3 wide receivers with a halfback and a tight end for Northwestern. They drop back and throw it to the left side, out to the edge. Looks like the tight end on the catch, able to break the tackle with his size. But there's a clipping call on the play that's going to set this one back. Now going to be 2nd and 19 as Northwestern gets backed up. We'll see where they mark it. Back to the 48-yard line. That takes them well out of field goal range. Now going to be 2nd and long for the Penn State defense as they look to stop the drive right here. Pass out to the left to the tight end again. Carter with a 6-yard catch. Now going to be 3rd and 12 as Penn State happy to accede the first 5 yards with their defensive call on that previous play. Now 3rd and long. Intercepted off the tip. Hollis makes the play. An excellent play on defense on a crucial 3rd down by the Nittany Lions. Turns the early tide. First play of the game is a 5-wide pass, and it's incomplete off to the left side. Arnold starting the game with an incompletion on the first play. 2nd and 10 now from the 43-yard line for the Nittany Lions as they cycle through some of the plays, coming up with an early strategy. Single back set with a tight end. It's a slot set. It's the shotgun wide trips up against a 4-man front for Northwestern. Pass out to the right side to Johnson. He gets stuck immediately, but not after getting a 5. Not before getting a 5-yard gain. That's going to set up a shorter distance. 3rd down now and 5 for the Nittany Lions right near midfield. They're at their own 48-yard line here in this scoreless ball game. Coming out in a shotgun set. We've got a tight end and 4 wide receivers up against 4 down linemen once again for Northwestern. Northwestern sends an extra rusher, and it's enough to cause enough pressure where Penn State doesn't want to make an early bad decision. It's going to force a punt here as Northwestern will take over possession in the early going in the first quarter. Looks like it's going to be a good one inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. Excellent punt by the Penn State special teams. It's an art form, something that you practice. And it pays off here as Northwestern are going to take over from their own 7.
I don't think either team has a clear advantage so far. Let's see if they can make some plays and get a little separation.
Pistol set for Northwestern. Madsen up the gut, gets 4. A little bit of breathing room. He's got 4 carries for 38 yards here in the early going. 2nd and 6 for Northwestern. The Wildcats running the no huddle. Penn State making their adjustments. Madsen again off to the left side. 3 yards is going to set up 3rd and 3. It's 3rd down now. Back to pass. The screen pass breaks the tackle. Able to get the first down. A 9-yard completion to Pedro Madsen. Going to keep Northwestern's drive alive as they push the ball out to their own 23 and get out of the black zone. Madsen off to the left side. Penn State's got a lot of bodies there. They contain it to 5. Now going to be 2nd and approachable. No huddle once again as the Wildcats have the ball out to their own 28-yard line now. 3:50 remaining in the first. 2-back set out of the no huddle. Madsen's the one that gets the ball across the first down marker. It's an 8-yard gain. He's now got 7 carries for 54 yards, and we're halfway through the first quarter. There it is. The defense gobbling him up for a 3-yard loss. They keyed on him. They guessed correctly. They had the bodies, and Penn State wallops the Northwestern rushing attack, now setting up 2nd and long. You see 3 wide receivers coming up out of the huddle for the Northwestern Wildcats. Daniels back to pass. Heavy rush, and that's a sack. Penn State gets into the backfield. Heavy pressure. Now going to set up 3rd and a mile.
Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone, another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get to 2, another one bites the dust. Shoot up.
Screen pass off to the left side. Madsen breaks. No, doesn't break the tackle. It's a 3-yard loss. Now going to be 4th and 24. 2:47 remaining in the first. Penn State comes up with another big defensive play as they destroy the drive.
Taylor to punt.
After the interception, Leon, it was a stop by the defense.
Tackle made at the 47-yard line.
As has been the case for both sides here in the first quarter, as we still sit scoreless despite some impressive stats by members of both teams.
This is a fun game, and I think we're going to see a lot of interest.
Good field position to start the drive at the 48-yard line for the Nittany Lions. The twin tight end said it's an eye tight up against a 4-man front. Up the gut goes Britt. 3-yard gain off to the right side. Going to set up 2nd and 7, his first carry of the day. As we get to about the 2-minute mark at the end of the first quarter, both of these teams feeling each other out here in the first frame. Penn State now, though, enjoying a strong position. It's Howell, the wide receiver slash tight end too. His agility allows him to cut up the field quickly, turns a 6 or 7 yard pass into a 13-yard gain. Now setting up the Nittany Lions on the 37-yard line approaching scoring distance. Out of the eye tight once again. Looks like it's going to be around at the gut to Britt. He makes some yardage, gets 3 yards. It's in the center of the field, down to the 34-yard line. As we look at 2nd and 7, the Nittany Lions defense helped out by a patient offense. Allows them to rest throughout much of the game. Something that's highly useful given the infamous Coach XP glitch that Penn State suffers from. Britt up the gut to the left side. They struggle to get him to the ground. It results in an extra yard after the contact. Going to set up now 3rd and 2 at the 29-yard line.
It's 3rd down, and they're about 2 yards shy of the sticks.
5 wide receivers for the Nittany Lions. Faced off against a 4-man front for Northwestern. The 4-2-5, it looks like on that play. A deflection at the line. I'm going to face Penn State with 4th and 2 on the 29-yard line in the middle of the field. Penn State lined up for the kick. They are in good position to take that chance. 3-mile-an-hour winds against them. They're going to see if they can't get this thing through the pipes. The kick is up long enough and right between the posts. 3 points for Penn State. The first points of the ball game. Three-man front for the Nittany Lions on defense. Their first play of this drive results in a loss. It's a stick in the backfield. Madsen dropped by Bill Riley. He had 2 picks last week. He comes up for a tackle for loss. As NBA Jam used to say, he's heating up.
So it's 2nd and 14. Ball on the 21.
3-man front once again in the 3-3-5 Okie. Comes Penn State. They put pressure on. 2 men get to the quarterback. Tackle for loss in the backfield by the quarterback. They call it a sack.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get to two. Another one bites the dust. Shoot up.
In that first quarter, or blame the offense.
That's the end of the first frame. Penn State ahead 3-0. Number 9, Nittany Lions, looking to stay alive here in the national title hunt. As far as the conference race goes, this would be a big win. Obviously, every conference win is. Certainly when 5 Big Ten teams are in the top 10 polls.
He unloads it.
Daniel Griffin, a 17-yard gain, but they needed 20. It's now 4th and 3. From their own 32, they'll punt. And they're going to take another look at this. He did jump. He did leap up to catch that. It's going to be tough here to see if he... Oh, it looks like he did stick both. That's an NFL catch. They just wanted to show it to us.
I thought he carried him out. Get him up on the shoulder.
The ruling on the field will stand. He caught it. The only thing
Vermintide.
That was an excellent catch.
I've got that myself, downloaded it on Gold.
There's a sequel.
I'm sure there's a sequel because the free stuff is
Avery back to return.
not the exciting stuff. But apparently worth checking out as Penn State with the punt return. Good yardage, an 18-yard gain by Avery, the backup halfback. That's going to set up the Nittany Lions again with excellent field position at the 48-yard line.
With one quarter down, I really haven't seen too much separation between these two squads. Might be neck and neck the whole way. Penn State holds a field goal.
6:22 remaining in the second quarter. Penn State football. Option play to the left side, and Arnold's able to get it out into space, but not able to get much more than a yard, maybe a yard and a half. They're going to call it 2nd and 9.
Second down.
The ball's right near the midfield stripe.
Ball on the 49.
Hits the tailback out of the backfield. Britt with a 6-yard catch off to the right side. One-on-one situation. Favorable matchup for Penn State. Results in a 6-yard gain. Now going to be 3rd and 4. Penn State looking to get their first 3rd down conversion here. Incomplete pass. Northwestern's defense once again plays well on 3rd down. Just enough to keep them alive. As Penn State taking the safe route. Going to punt here, 4th and 4. With the lead. And their defense playing well. Good punt. That's going to be out of bounds inside the 5. Let's see where they mark it. Is it going to be the 2, the 1? I doubt it'll be the 3. It was an excellent punt.
That's the one area of the field.
It's the 1-yard line. Huge play by the Penn State special teams. Really proving the point as far as not going for it there on the 4th down. The decision turns out sparklingly well.
Nice run, and he's brought down.
Madsen with a 5-yard gain up the gut. He's got 10 for 52. 5 minutes and counting as Northwestern once again goes back into their no-huddle offense. Off to the left side, but the defense is there. Hollis, once again, a 2nd tackle for loss of the day. Madsen now knocked down to 3rd and 8. Huge play coming up. You see the conservative set by Northwestern on 3rd down that allows Penn State to play containment, and they're able to get bodies there, setting themselves up with receiving the ball near midfield. Avery, the punt returner, is not too far from the midfield stripe right now, waiting to catch this kick. It is a 3 and out for Penn State. The punt return gets the ball down inside the 40. They're at the 36.5-yard line now in a twin tight end set, trying to get more points with the lead. Caught in the open field, and Johnson gets the first down. It's a 12-yard gain. 4 minutes remaining in the half as Penn State moving the ball closer down to the 24-yard line now of the Northwestern Wildcats. Staying with the twin tight end eye tight. switching the run from the right to the left. We'll see what Britt can get here. He stabs in the middle for 5 yards. 3:32 remaining. 2nd and 5. No huddle for Penn State. PA Power O results in a sack.
Can't take sacks like that as a
Arnold goes down for a loss of 7. It's now going to be 3rd and 12.
pocket and throw.
And Penn State going to take a moment here to evaluate the situation and come up with a good call as they look to convert here on the 26-yard line.
We've got 3rd and 12. Ball on the 26-yard line. There are 5 wide receivers.
Coming out in the 5 wide set. Northwestern. Multiple defensive backs. It is complete to Johnson over the middle. Gets the first down and more. A 16-yard gain.
Sometimes you just can't stop a good
Looks to be at about the 10-yard line.
They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
They found the weak spot in the defense there. Staying with the 5 wide in the no huddle. The Nittany Lions. Incomplete pass.
Boy, would he like to have that one back.
Arnold 5 for 10 on the day.
timing, and as you saw there, when their timing gets knocked off, they have a tough
Penn State now 2nd and 10.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. Ball on the 10.
Coming out with 3 wide receivers. It's the read option. Handoff up the gut. Britt gets 2. Now going to be 3rd and 8. As Penn State going to have a shot at the end zone here. Incomplete pass. Arnold off target again. He's not off to his normal start, and Penn State going to be forced to settle for the field goal. The offense able to move the ball down the field, but not quite able to punch it in and benefit from, so far, stellar defensive play. Right between the pipes once again, and Penn State leads 6-0.
The Buckeyes, today's game ranked 8th. Back and forth. Teams go neither one getting an end. We could be for a little bit.
He's made so many plays.
He knew this one wasn't going to be as tough as some other games. but
You see there the Penn State defense.
his level of play to drop.
They've got a sack and 3 tackles for loss. So far, they've done an excellent job containing the Northwestern offense. Leading 6-0. Giving their offense good field position. So far, the offense unable to take full advantage of it, but the defense, nevertheless, playing well so far. Here comes an option play by Northwestern. A broken tackle results in a positive gain. It's going to be a 5-yard run.
Option to the halfback. Northwestern
And the Wildcats call a timeout with 1:59 remaining.
from their own 30-yard line. 2nd down. Darts it to the left.
Long pass, out of bounds.
The best way to make sure the receiver doesn't catch it. You just put
Daniel is unable to get the completion on just his 6th pass of the first half. That's a good job the Penn State defense has done by holding them to 3 and out and 1 first down in a drive kind of situations, limiting the number of plays. And a huge drop there by Northwestern is going to result in a 4th down. They're going to give the ball back to the Penn State Nittany Lions. It's a 3 and out, as Northwestern unable to get anything done on offense. And now it's up to the Penn State offense to cash in one of these checks. They've got 141 left in the half. They've got 3 timeouts. They've got good field position. Let's see what they do here. 5 wide receivers.
They come out in an empty backfield.
Waits on it, hits the underneath man. Howell on the catch, a 14-yard gain. He plays tight end, he plays wide receiver, he plays slot. He's all over the field. He is a name to remember because he's going to be here for a minute, and he's going to play well for a while.
Penn State is up by 6.
Sacked. Arnold goes down. It's a loss of 8. Penn State calls the timeout. 1:22 now, 47-yard line, 2nd and 18, close to the middle of the field. 5 wide receivers once again, the familiar 4 verticals set. Looks like it could be a cover 3 or a cover 4 for Northwestern. Who's to say? They've got multiple defensive backs here at the close of the first half. Another sack. Arnold down again for another 8 yards. This time it's Mike Payne, his first tackle of the day. The Penn State offensive line struggling here in this 2-minute drill. 3rd and 26, the result of back-to-back sacks. A 16-yard backtrack on 2 plays.
They come out in a 5-wide set.
Penn State happy to let a few seconds take off the clock. Another incompletion, this one off target by a fair distance, although to be fair, it was a long throw. Now going to be 4th and 26, 36 seconds remaining. Both teams with 2 timeouts. Penn State unable to capitalize on good field position. Just the 2 field goals so far here in the first half. However, their defense, stellar. Their special teams, good so far. And now, with 32 seconds remaining, Northwestern takes over at their own 30. Ball going to be on the right hash mark. We expect to see multiple defensive backs for Penn State. They do indeed come out in the quarter set as 3 wide receivers. There's the tight end in motion with a single halfback. Caught through traffic. Griffin gets the first down. They call timeout. 27 seconds remaining. And Northwestern now at the 45-yard line, trying to squeeze in a little bit of offense here at the end of the half. Burley eats through 2 layers of the Northwestern offensive line, able to get the sack on relentless pressure up the gut, forcing 2nd and long now. They're going to go no huddle. It's caught, probably shouldn't have been. Madsen gets a 2-yard loss on the play. 9 seconds remaining. We'll see if either team wants to run another play. The last 2 have been ugly if you're a Northwestern fan. Probably going to be it. I don't think they'll get it off. Maybe they will. Do they? They don't. 6-0 at the half. Shockingly, these 2 high-powered offenses locked in a defensive duel, as 2 field goals by Penn State and stellar defensive play give us a 6-0 halftime scoreline.
NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. Reese Davis and David Pollock here, completely locked in.
Welcome back, everybody. Second half action about to begin. Nice kick, plenty of distance.
Penn State on the good side of things, getting the second half kickoff, having won the toss. I remember those days. Twin tight end set now, the eye tight, a favored formation for the Lions this season. Hits Howell over the middle, able to get 3. Now going to be 2nd and 7. Early in the second half, Penn State with the lead and the ball.
It's 2nd and 7. Ball on the 28-yard line.
2-back set, 2 tight ends. That's the shotgun split pig. 4 down linemen for Northwestern. Up the gut to Avery.
7 yards there on the option pitch to the halfback.
It's a play that Penn State's had a lot of success with throughout the year, whether against the CPU or users.
So it's 3rd down.
Now inches to go for the first down. I'm going to give Penn State an opportunity here to get some momentum. It's the quick snap. It's the first down.
37-yard line.
It's a jolt to team momentum for Penn State. They've got a fullback. They've got a halfback. Looks like 2 tight ends off to the right side. Britt at the gut. He gets 5. Now going to be second approachable. We're here in the early going of the third quarter. It's a minute and a half into the second half. As Penn State out now to the 42-yard line.
2nd down.
In what they hope to be a long, painful drive. Caught by Howell.
And he goes down quickly.
His mobility as a wide receiver, playing in the tight end 2 position, enables him to not only break free and clear of linebackers covering him,
It's 3rd down, and
but also to make plays after the catch. He wasn't able to do that this time, but we've seen it before. He's an explosive player on a lot of those underneath routes. Another 3rd down here. It's the correct decision on the read option. Arnold breaks a tackle, gets a monstrous 39-yard run. He had 20 before he even made contact with any defender for Northwestern. An excellent call by Coach Ninja, resulting in a monstrous gain up the gut. The Nittany Lions now hold the ball on the 15-yard line.
First down and 10 to go after the big gain on the run.
We see that the total yards for the 2 teams combined at 200 yards. It's a defensive battle, but Penn State now holding the ball. Firing into the end zone. It's a touchdown. That's a big play in the context of this ball game, folks. It's now 12-0 Penn State, awaiting the extra point. 13-0 the scoreline. Penn State now up by 2 scores for first trip to the paint. Their first touchdown. Northwestern, if they want to make this a game, they need to get in gear shortly. Not going to do it that way. Penn State sniffed it out. The delayed handoff on the draw play. Nittany Lions stuff it. 2nd and long. Going to take a brief break here as we are going to replace the batteries on this controller. So far, the Penn State Nittany Lions defense, the story in this ball game. They've held Northwestern to 0 points, obviously, but then in addition to that, to only 80 yards. We're approaching the midway point of the 3rd quarter. Already 2 minutes into it, 3 minutes into it, actually. And Northwestern, at this point in time, with 0 points with 80-some yards. Penn State with a turnover. Playing well on defense. Going to be surprising if Northwestern's able to make the right plays here and turn this game around. As stated just a minute ago, they're going to need to do it shortly if they have any hope in this ball game. We've gotten the batteries for the controller, and we are good to go here. We're going to restart the game here. 3:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
From their own 23-yard line, it's 2nd down. 5 wide.
It's a pass to Avery. Looks like Northwestern has their own Avery. He's able to get the first down.
Was that a screen or not?
So an empty backfield with 5 wide receivers.
That one was a screen.
Screen pass to the left side gets swallowed up for a 4-yard loss. Nittany Lions defense answering the call there. Now going to be 2nd and a lot for the Wildcats. Penn State coming out in the 3-man front. Looks like a 3-3-5 Okie. They've got a man coming off the edge. He gets to the quarterback, but not before he gets a 3-yard. They're going to call it a 4-yard catch. Now they're going no huddle. 3rd and 11 with 3:11 left in the 3rd. Daniels back to pass. Gets the completion, but it's nowhere near enough. Now going to be 4th and 7, and as expected, Northwestern punting. The Penn State Nittany Lions defense once again holding. Avery catches the punt. Burst up the field for 14 yards. And Penn State holding a 13-0 lead, now taking over at their 33-yard line with 2 minutes and change remaining in the 3rd. Pitching a shutout so far.
Do you think we'll see the same result on this one?
They ran the ball extremely well on their last drive. And until this defense figures out how to stop it, I think they'll have no problem moving the ball down the field.
Second and 8 now. It's the eye-tight formation for the Nittany Lions, holding a 13-0 lead. A 5-yard gain by Britt up the gut sets up 3rd and 3. Running the no huddle, Arnold orchestrating the offense. And this time it's enough. The 4th third down conversion for the Nittany Lions results in them maintaining possession. That clock ticking ever downwards. The Nittany Lions holding a 13-0 lead here in this key Big Ten Conference football game in Week 10 of Season 11 in League 1. Arnold on the option play. It's a flag on the play. Let's see what it is. Face mask against the defense. That's going to be a first down and more. Down to the 34-yard line. 1:30 remaining in the third quarter. Penn State with the football at the 34-yard line.
First down, 10 yards to go. Ball on the 34-yard line.
Man in motion, right to left, and then they throw on the left to right. Howell on the catch, his 6th of the ball game. That gets Arnold up to 11 of the 18. 2nd and 8 now on the 31-yard line. Penn State leading 13-0.
It's 2nd down, 8 to go. Ball on the 31-yard line.
Man in motion, right to left. Up the gut goes Britt. He gets a yard. Now going to be 3rd and 7. That might be the last play of the third. We'll see if they want to get another play in. They certainly can come out and take a look at the situation at the very least.
3rd down, and they need to get it to the 24. They'll spread the field here. Let's see what the defense does with a 5-wide outlook.
Almost picked off. Pat Small with the deflection. Now going to be 4th and 7. 4 seconds remaining in the third at the 30-yard line. As Penn State lines up for what could be their 3rd field goal. It's going to be a 47-yard attempt. A little bit of wind against him, but not too much. Let's see how we do. Right down the middle. Excellent kick. Penn State leads 16-0.
Has been a force to be reckoned with, especially in this game.
Well, they have stepped up today. They just seem to be
16-0. Penn State leads at the end of the third quarter.
very physical. What I love is how relentless they
7 minutes left here in the ball game as Northwestern takes over on their own 25-yard line.
Back to the action. You know they'd like to do something a little more than they did on their last drive when they had to punt the ball away.
Madsen up the gut, breaks the tackle,
He's to the 40.
makes a play, and it's a 26-yard gain. He's now up to 15 for 85 on the day. Madsen 0 on that carry. Riley now 6 tackles. No huddle for Northwestern. Madsen in the backfield, 2-yard loss. It appears that he's the horse that Northwestern came in on, and they're prepared to ride him out. One for 7 on the day on 3rd down. Offsides on Penn State. Going to be 3rd and 7. Point stands. Still 3rd and long. Screen pass by Northwestern off to the right side. Tackled in the backfield. A 4-yard loss. Creating 4th and 11. They may go for it still at this point of the game, down by 16. And indeed they are. Indeed they are. At the midfield stripe, they figure this is their best chance. Desperation time now for the Wildcats as Penn State lines up in a 3-3-5 across. Going deep is Northwestern. Caught inside the 10-yard line, a 44-yard gain by Courtney Griffin. Now going to go no huddle is Northwestern. 16-0 the score in the ball game as both teams rush to the line. Halfback up the gut. Madsen breaks the first but not the second. Gets tackled after a 4-yard gain. He's got 18 for 87. 5.5 remaining in the ball game. Madsen again in between the tackles into the end zone for Northwestern's first points. 16-6. As expected, they're going to go for 2. Try to pull this game within 8 points. A successful conversion here makes this a 1-score game. Penn State's defense going to do everything they can to prevent that. It's a completion to the edge. Sean Lane finds an empty spot. And it's 16-8. That's a scoreline you don't hear too often. Nevertheless, it is a 1-score ball game. Penn State having had difficulty so far in the passing game. Arnold having a 50 to 55% completion rate so far. A few wildly off-target passes, but so far, Penn State's done a good job of being sensible and trying to protect what is going well on offense and prevent any large errors. To this point, their defense has played outstanding. That's allowed them to do that. Avery up the gut. It's a nice start to the drive. It's a 4-yard gain. That's going to be second approachable. 6 yards to go out of the 26-yard line.
From their own 26-yard line. Second down.
Shotgun, split big, twin tight ends, twin halfbacks. Avery gets eaten up. There's 2 defenders there. They're going to get him behind the line of scrimmage. Now going to be 3rd and long. 3rd and 9. 4.5 remaining in the ball game. Northwestern trailing by 8. 24-yard line, the marker. As Penn State comes out. 5 receivers.
Quarterback all by himself in the backfield with 5 wideouts.
Big third down play. Johnson wide open. Able to get 25 to 35 yards after the catch. Turns the play into a 53-yard gain. It's a monstrous play, the biggest play of the game so far, as Penn State now has first down in scoring range inside the 30, leading in the fourth quarter.
That's a loss of 8 yards. That'll make it second and long.
31-yard line, the marker. 2nd and 18, the distance.
State is up by 8.
Caught by Johnson, wide open, gets the first down. Another big play by Jeremy Johnson. He's got over 100 yards, easily the most productive player on the Penn State offense so far today. He's come up with several big plays. The clock about to strike midnight on the Northwestern Wildcats.
From the 12-yard line. First down.
Caught by Howell over the middle. 9-yard gain. 2nd and inches. Just about the ideal result in this scenario. That's going to allow Penn State to take more time off the clock, as they only need less than a foot to get a fresh set of downs. It's going to allow them a really luxurious situation here when it comes to time and timeouts for Northwestern here in this one-score situation. They're going to take all the time they can here. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. 2-score ball game once again. Big score there if you're a Penn State fan.
Well, they know exactly what they have to do now. Get the
He got past the defense 3 times for touchdown. The Hoosiers get the win. 31.
Seeing some scores around Big Ten action.
Stuff, Reese. Thank you.
We've got some big games coming up in the Big Ten East.
Ready to kick this one off.
That win by Indiana. And we know that Ohio State ends up beating Maryland,
And they can forget about returning this.
along with a win by the Michigan Wolverines, sets up a 4-team race in the Big Ten East with all to play for as we wind down the regular season. We got about 3 weeks left, 4 weeks left in some cases. And all those games are going to be important. We're going to broadcast every Friday night on this channel following Penn State and Washington State in the hunt for the national championship in League 1. Charlie Pierre with a 12-yard catch for Northwestern. They're going to try to make this thing look better than it is. But dire straits the Wildcats find themselves in trailing by 15, less than 2 minutes remaining in the ball game.
Less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Penn State's going to try to make sure that they don't make it any easier on them.
Once and all, going deep. Almost picked off.
Good play there on defense. High percentage play for the defense to get the stop there. Nevertheless, had the right bodies in the right places. It's been a crafty game. It's been a thinking man's game. Griffith with the catch. We've got a flag on the play. Let's see what it is.
And there's a penalty on the play. Let's see who's
Holding against the offense. That's going to be a big one. 2nd and 20 instead of 1st and 10.
Way too much
That's a
easy call for the official.
30-yard penalty, if not more. Field position-wise,
now after the penalty.
killer.
Defense goes with the extra defensive backs as the offense comes up.
5 wide receivers for Northwestern as they finally put their foot to the pedal.
Taken down.
You can tell he's
12-yard gain,
his wide receivers.
140 remaining.
They can pull it in and make something happen.
The quarterback in the gun. Empty backfield. 5 wide receivers in the formation. And they make the stop.
Avery again over the middle.
7-yard line.
131 remaining.
And they've got all their DBs in there to match up against the 5-wide set.
Avery again over the middle. 3rd straight catch for Micah Avery. Sack.
Sometimes it's just a relentless pass rush.
Another one bites the dust.
Looked like that was a pure case. Northwestern running that no-huddle offense, lacking the depth on the offensive line. Tired blockers, unable to prevent several intrusions by the Penn State front 4.
3rd down now. And they need to get it down to
3rd and long.
We have less than a minute to go.
Another sack. Daniels hits the turf. Northwestern running out of options, now having to go for it on 4th and 17 on their own 46, hoping for a miracle here. The last gasp for the Northwestern Wildcats today. Going deep, incomplete. Penn State's going to take over on downs. Leading by 15, just 45 seconds remaining. Once again, folks, next week you'll see both Penn State and Washington State in action. These 2 top 10 teams fighting it out for a berth in the national title game. Penn State escapes Northwestern. They're going to take knees here. Take that 10 points of coaching XP. Survive in advance.
Northwestern will have 1 timeout remaining.
Happy to be healthy going into some key games against a murderer's row lineup here in the final weeks of the season. Penn State going to have to face off against Ohio State and Michigan State, as well as a surprisingly spry Indiana team. Some of those teams, such as Indiana, have 4-year cycles, of course. They have their peaks and valleys. Sometimes they get the right amount of seniors together. This is one of those good years for Indiana. They're 5-2. They're going to face off against this now 6-2 Penn State team. And the Nittany Lions now ranked 9th coming into this week.
I need to run a play here, don't I?
We try to play on Friday nights. The league spins once a week. We've got other users involved, of course. Tomorrow night, not on Twitch, unfortunately, we expect that Houston, who's ranked second in our polls, another user team, will play their game against number 23, as well as another user team facing off in a top 25 battle. Lots to play for remaining in the season, but this a big win for Penn State as they move forward at 5-0 in Big Ten play. The kicker getting the player of the game, 3 for 3 on field goals, and the Penn State defense playing excellently against an up-and-down Northwestern team. They came into the game streaky, having pulled off a huge upset last week against number 1 Iowa. As a reminder, of course, there's 5 of the top 10 teams in the Big Ten this year: Iowa, Penn State, Nebraska, Ohio State, and Michigan, all residing in those lofty heights. So Penn State with plenty of key, crucial games coming up against massive opponents as they hope to find their way into the national championship game. Washington State, coached by yours truly. In my games, when I play as Washington State, you'll hear Coach Ninja on the play-by-play. Washington State trying to survive the Pac-12 season. We will look to survive and advance next week on the bye, but the following week against a top 10 Oregon Ducks football team. Northwestern not putting up too much of an offensive effort against this Penn State defense. The Nittany Lions held them to 196 yards of offense and 2 out of 10 on third down. Some big plays there by Penn State on defense enabled that. On an individual level, Arnold, up and down, had some moments, but could stand to improve, but nothing that can't be fixed. Could have just had a slightly down week. He's had some good plays this season as well. Of course, he is a junior. Penn State has a habit of starting senior quarterbacks. So Arnold already behind the 8 ball, but so far this season, leading Penn State to a number 9 ranking. Howell with 7 key catches, playing that wide receiver slot position as well as tight end number 2. All sorts of tackles for loss spread out amongst several defenders, 6 of them combining for 14 tackles for loss. Wally Holt, the player of the game, with a few key kicks as Penn State played it patient, made the right decisions. Once again, we hope you'll join us. We expect to have another doubleheader for you. We'll have a single header for you next week as Penn State will be the only team in action. Washington State on a bye. Penn State will be in action against. We'll get that for you here in just a second. Pulling up the team schedule as we process the information from this game. That one's a big one. Number 9, Penn State at number 4, Michigan in the big house. 5-0 in the Big Ten are the Nittany Lions. 4-1 in conference play are the Wolverines. This one's going to be a key game in Big Ten action and Big Ten East action. This could be a pivotal game to decide who wins the contentious Big Ten East division. So we'll have those games for you. That game for you next week. Again, Washington State will be out of action. We've got a bye. We'll come with another doubleheader the following week. But next week, catch Penn State in action as we follow League 1 in Season 11 We're winding down now here in Week 10. We're going to take a look here at the top 25 polls real quick to give you a state of affairs look at League 1 action. We've got Washington State ranked number 1 and another user team, Houston, in the second slot. Penn State there in 9th in the coaches poll, but they're ranked 4th in the media poll. And as we just stated, facing off against Michigan, going to be a key game next week. Washington State on the bye, and Houston this week against number 23 Iowa State, a surprising Iowa State team. It's going to be an interesting game as Houston's coach coming from Iowa State, so he's actually playing the team that he built up into a top 25 team, took over the Cyclones, turned them around, had a few seasons of recruiting and redshirting, and now taking them on as Houston, as the number 2 team in the country. Penn State ranked 9th, as we see. Other user teams in the top 25, we've got a couple here down at 21st and 22nd, USC and Kansas, rounding out the users in the top 25 polls. Washington State and Penn State, the 2 teams active on this Twitch channel. We hope you'll join us next week as Penn State is in action. Thank you, and have a great week.